Israel, where citizens remain under attack. Well, the wave of terror washed across the country and the Palestinian territories over the past months. It continued today. At least one woman was killed in 4 attempted attacks in the West Bank. The next report has more.
After a period of relative calm, daily terror attacks have again become the rule on the streets of Israel and the Palestinian territories.
We are facing a terror of individuals, not one that is planned by organizations. This is a terror of individual people that sometimes attack with kitchen knives. They are mostly incited in social media. It is very difficult to completely eliminate all attacks or to prevent all terrorists from acting, or to even prevent them from arriving at specific locations and conduct a terror attack.
On Sunday, a young Israeli woman was stabbed to death by a Palestinian assailant at the Gush Etzion junction in the West Bank. The attacker was shot dead by security forces. It was the second fatal attack at this very junction since Thursday, when a shooting spree left 3 people dead and several others wounded. Earlier on Sunday, a female terrorist tried to attack a young girl at the West Bank bus stop located near an Israeli checkpoint.
I picked up some hitchhikers nearby, and suddenly someone shouted, "There's a terrorist." I saw a large woman holding a knife, running after a girl. I didn't think twice and diverted to my right, and pressing full gas, I hit her. I stopped sideways, and then the soldiers came and continued shooting at her until she was fully neutralized.
The perpetrator, a 16-year-old girl from Nablus, was later declared dead. An hour later, another attack was carried out in the West Bank at the Kfar Adumim junction close to Jerusalem. A Palestinian driver attempted to ram his vehicle into a group of civilians before exiting his car and lightly wounding a 51-year-old Israeli man with a knife.
Israeli police and its different units responded to a terrorist attack that was carried out by a Palestinian driving his taxi towards the Jerusalem area. What took place is he rammed his vehicle into an Israeli vehicle. One person was injured lightly. He fled his vehicle and with a knife in his hand tried to stab a number of Israelis.
The assailant was shot dead by a civilian at the scene.
And now again, we're in the studio with our military correspondent, Shai Ben-Ari, and Avi Sakharov joins us now, Middle East analyst. Appreciate you being with us here. Shai, start with you or come back to you here. What's the latest now from after today's wave of terror?
Yeah, again, a day with 3 attacks across the West Bank, and this is unfortunately, it's a fairly common occurrence that we see even 3 or 4 attacks in the same day. The latest was in Gush Etzion, the Gush Etzion intersection, which has really been the site of numerous attacks just in the current terror wave. The victim was a 21-year-old female, Hadar Bukhris, who was basically trying to catch a ride. The attack was carried out by a 34-year-old Azam Tuabtev, Beit Fajr. That's a village slightly to the north of Hebron, and that has been the area which has been the focus of much of the violence and the origin of much of the violence. We're talking about the 19th fatality as a result of the current terror wave. 311 others have been injured so far.
I mean, obviously, is this the new norm now, these daily attacks? We see them in the West Bank. We're seeing them in Israel proper as well. How are you analyzing this? What's taking place in front of our eyes?
This is the routine, the new routine that we're facing. I guess that many people expected it to end after 2 days, after 2 weeks. Then we're almost 2 months. I mean, we're at the day 51, if I'm not wrong. And it continues, and it's every day. Sometimes we have 2 days off, and then another major events like the last Thursday that we've witnessed in the killing of 5 Israelis, or 5 people. One of them was Palestinian. So I guess this is something that we will need to get used to, this so-called third uprising or not, but it is such a phenomenon that we didn't know before.
Do you see any connection? I mean, we've seen, as you mentioned, some ebb and flow now to these attacks. Some days have been worse than others. Some days have been quiet. Following the Paris attacks, it was a chapter of fair quiet a little bit, not too much happening. Then suddenly we've had a bunch of attacks in the last days here now. Is there a connection to what's happening in Europe?
I think that Paris, in a way, shocked not only us in Israel and, of course, people in Europe, but also the terrorists, because they saw what happened there. For them, it was a few days of understanding how are they going to act after such attacks in Paris. And at the end, it proved to be just one of those days, and let's go back to the routine. Let's go back to the old business that we all have been through in the last couple of weeks. So then again, when we look at the horizon, yes, John Kerry is coming to town, but there's no political plan, there's no diplomatic plan There's no exit plan
Doesn't
out of this
seem
crisis.
that the U.S. is interested in investing in more political capital and trying to get the peace talks restarted.
Look, the White House said pretty obviously, pretty clearly that it raised the white flag and said we're not going to focus on the peace process. We're not going to invest much about that. The special envoy is someone that I don't even know his name. Special envoy for the peace process, of course. So they're not going to create a change here on the ground. And I'm sorry to say that, and it's going to sound terrible. I did the mathematics this morning. Till the next administration is going to focus and invest something in this peace process, there will be more than 15 months, maybe 16 months. Till then, I don't see the light.
Well, Avi Yisachar, Shai Ben Ari, thank you both for being with us.